gonna get started. All right, we're gonna get started now. If everyone don't mind, I'm gonna take the mask off because it's kind of hard to talk, and I think I have enough distance from everybody. Let's do a few things here. Make sure you have your phone off. Did everybody sign in and put their name very clearly and your email address, because that's the system that we're going to be utilizing down the road as we're putting this program together in different ways. And we want to make sure all of you are informed. So make sure that you have your email address. If you don't have one, phone number is good enough. You should have gotten a card. So that way that card will be the process in which we're going to answer your questions. Okay. Okay, so just want to tell everybody, on behalf of Mayor Anthony Copeland, thank you so much for attending this meeting. This is the second meeting that we've had concerning the Marktown Neighborhood Exterior Renovation Program. And so I wanted you to know that this is Mr. Walt Hagelin and Dave Jordan from Urban Design. In the process, we're going to go through this PowerPoint presentation that we have available for you. The first thing is introductions, which I just did. The second one is question cards. Those question cards that you have, please fill out those question cards, because that's what we're going to use at the end of the day to answer some of your questions. Then also the results of the housing study and the Exterior Housing Renovation Program and the roundabout updates. And we have Mr. Keith Salvi here too, who will talk about the roundabout. So the purpose of this meeting are all those areas that we're addressing up there as part of our welcome. So we're going to start off the program with Mr. Walt Hagelin and Dave Jordan of Urban Design Ventures, LLC. And he's going to discuss various different areas in a minute. I just wanted you guys to all know that this is a very good opportunity for all of us to be able to provide ourselves with some grant dollars that will be available for you to make your home what you need it to be, and that's to renovate it. And we're proud of putting this program together. And these two gentlemen have been very instrumental in putting that for us together. And so please fill out the questionnaire so that we can answer your questions. So everyone who's come in, hopefully we don't get any new people, but if we did, make sure you sign in, have the question card, and make sure your email address is clear. If you don't have it, that's okay. You could have your phone number there. So I'm going to let Mr. Walt Hagelin and Dave Jordan take over.
We completed our field work in November, following up by various other information that we were able to obtain. We then proceeded to prepare maps of the area, and I wanted to go over the maps basically. Maybe, Dave, could you sort of point out some of the things? Yeah. Okay. First map is going to be a little hard for people to see, but it's the boundary of the area. You know, the boundary is basically starting at Riley Avenue and Dickey Street over to the back of the properties on the park area on Broad, you know, up to 29th Street, over to the continuing on to the back of the park, back over to Riley. So it's about 40 acres of property. And in there are 200, no questions now, please.
That's why you have the question card. We're going to use that.
It's Dickey Road.
Dickey Road.
Dickey Road.
Sorry, Dickey Road.
Dickey Road.
Okay. There's 256 parcels in the Marktown neighborhood. And of those, there's 46 that are publicly owned, which is 18%, and 210 are privately owned. Now, of those 46 that are publicly owned, 3 are park parcels, and 43 are residential parcels that the city owns. In addition, for the privately owned parcels, 77 parcels out of the 210 are owned by BP, and 133 are by private individuals. And the green indicates the BP-owned property, the orange is the city-owned property, and the yellow are all private properties. The park areas are just outlined in orange, because otherwise it would really distort the whole intent of the map by having those in orange. That's all you'd see is the orange. Okay. We also did a 100% exterior survey of all the properties. And of those properties, there were, the 256, there were 105 vacant lots, 146 residences, 2 others that just had garages, and 3 park and recreational properties. So there's 146 residences in Marktown. Now, of those 146 residences, we also did a land use study which shows the houses in yellow that are the residencies, and the white parcels are the vacant lots. Now, we also did a structural conditions survey of those properties. And of the 146 residences, 50 are sound, basically, little or no maintenance needed or rehabilitation work needed. 48 have minor rehabilitation work that's needed. That's shown in the orange. 39 need major rehabilitation work. And there's 9 that are economically infeasible. They may be economically infeasible to rehabilitate. The amount of money that you put into the house, it would be difficult to get that money back out of the house, but that's up to the property owner. Now, as I mentioned, there were 77 properties that are vacant lots. All of the BP properties that they own are vacant lots. There's also 28 that are vacant lots. There's, of the 146 residential properties, 32 are vacant, and 114 are occupied by owners, or just occupied, I'm sorry. There's 67 owner-occupied properties and 47 rental properties. So that makes up the 114 that are occupied. We also did on the study, we came up with some recommendations, and that's the last map on the wall, and that shows it's an asset and constraints analysis. And the squiggly lines around Marktown indicate the heavy industry that surrounds it. We're also proposing then, in order to improve the environment in Marktown, is to try to build a dense buffer so that you're not looking at the industry, and also that this would be evergreens and mixed trees, etc., deciduous trees. And then also on Riley Avenue, there isn't room to get a dense buffer in, but to plant trees along Riley Avenue. Also, there's little red dots on that map. You can come up afterwards and look. Those are the vacant properties that could be rehabbed by somebody. Then you also have stars, yellow stars that are outlined. Those stars represent possible future development sites to add new residences into the Marktown neighborhood. And then one of the recommendations was to do an actual ball field along Broadway and get that in place, and possibly redevelop the soccer field too, with your goals, etc. Also then additional work to the community center and additional work in the Central Park. So, Frank, you want to talk about the program?
Yes. These will be the objectives for tonight. The following objectives are presented for the consideration of the City of East Chicago for revitalization of the Marktown neighborhood. We're going to be providing financial assistance to owner occupants of homes in Marktown, improve the physical appearance of homes in Marktown, increase the property values of homes in Marktown, eliminate physical deterioration of the exterior of homes, encourage home ownership from rental occupancy, eliminate blighting conditions and encourage maintenance and keep up, renovate a model home to demonstrate the feasibility of the program. To be eligible in the program, here are the criteria. Houses must be owned and occupied by residents of Marktown. Owners must have lived in the property for at least 12 months before applying. Houses must be located within the boundaries of the Marktown neighborhood in which Mr. Walt went through those boundaries. Utilities must be connected and in good working condition. The property cannot be scheduled to be in foreclosure by financial institution, and all mortgage payments must be current and up to date. There cannot be any outstanding real estate tax liens or municipal tax liens filed on the property. And we're looking at doing all types of family homes that can be eligible. And that's detached houses, duplexes, triplexes, and quadruplexes. The scope of work, this is what we're going to be doing so that everyone gets an idea. One of the things that we're looking at is roofing. We're going to look at your chimneys. We're going to look at your flashing, your soffits, and fascia? Fascia. I can never pronounce that correctly. Sorry about that. Okay, gutters and downspouts, walls, surface and stucco or brick, porches, foundation patch, and repair. We're not doing the whole foundation. We're doing the repairs of the foundation around it. Okay, doors and exterior, and storm and screen, windows, window sills and lintels, window treatments, walls above grade, painting, and walks and drives. Non-eligible scope of work. This is what we're not going to be doing. So there'll be uneligible types of activities while we work with you. And that'll be interior work. We're not doing any interior work. We're not going to do any landscaping. Antennas and satellite dishes, floodlights or motion detectors, demolition, auxiliary structures, and no new auxiliary structures may be constructed under this program. So those are the non-eligible scope of works that we've identified. Now, the next screen will talk about financial assistance. The City of East Chicago is going to provide financial assistance to homeowners for exterior renovation work on their homes. The following is a summary of the assistance that may be provided to eligible applicants, and that's all of you who are here as eligible applicants. And there are some things that we're going to do to make sure that we know that you're the actual homeowner. Okay. Continual financial assistance. A grant will be provided for eligible homeowner funds. Grants of up to $40,000 per house permitted. If you have a duplex, $40,000 one side, $40,000 the other. Okay? Homeowners must have owned and lived in the property, as we said earlier, for 12 months before the date of the application. Continual financial assistance. The homeowner must continue to own and occupy the home as their primary residence for 5 years after completing the renovation work. We say here forgiven. This is an earned grant and forgiven at the annual rate of 20% per year of the anniversary date of completion of the work. We usually call this a forgivable loan. Okay, repayment. Repayment of the percentage of the non-earned portion of the grant is required if the homeowner moves, sells your home, transfers, title, or it is no longer the homeowner's principal residence. You have to live there for at least 5 years in this case, okay? You can't rent this, you can't do anything but live there for 5 years. Now, if you decide to leave, like say within 4 years, well, that means you have completed 80% and 20% remains, and you will pay us back the 20%. Just as an example. Okay, and continuing financial assistance. The homeowner must sign a promissory note stating that their heirs, he's kind of wavy, or assignees will repay their unearned portion of the grant. There is no maximum income requirement, nor is the homeowner's income a determining factor. We're not collecting any of that. So just to let you all know, there's no income calculations to this. We don't care what you're making. All we just care is that you live there. Okay? Now, the homeowner completes an application for financial assistance, which is reviewed and approved by the City of East Chicago Department of Redevelopment. We just want to give you an example. This is one of the homes that we purchased, and one was obtained by the tax sale. So we had the idea of looking at this particular property and saying to ourselves, let's look at what we can potentially do. So we had a few people come to the table, and we reviewed what they were intending to want to provide here for our need in terms of the city. But this is also an option for anyone else who's interested in wanting to build a home like this one. You have that option. And I think it's a beautiful option because you can have the option of open or closed porch. But just to give you an example.
Is that a driveway into the yard?
No, no. There's pebbles and stuff like that. It's not a driveway. Okay? Just another view of it. Nice little front view of it. And here's a side view. And you see that little flower pot that's way up on the top? We like that. Just for the ladies who love the green finger. I know. Right, that's too complex that we're going to be planning to make it look like this and invest our money in that. Okay? And that's an option for any one of you all as well. Now, here's Mr. Keith Salvi, who's going to talk a little bit about the Marktown roundabout and some other things that he has as part of his project. Okay, so at the end, make sure you write out your questions on that questionnaire that we gave you, that little question card, so that we can ask. Put your name and everything on there, please. We truly appreciate that because it's important that all of you are in communication with us and that we can answer your questions, because without you, none of this can happen. I do want to make this real clear, though. All right? Is everybody listening to me? Okay. We are going to go to the Common Council. We are asking you, all residents, to join us at the Common Council. We'll be choosing a particular date, and we're looking at asking the Common Council for $1.6 million in order for all of this to happen for all of you. Okay, just to let you know.
Good evening. Thank you, Frank. And my comments will be brief. But I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to come and provide a 5th District project update. And beginning with the project that most of you guys are familiar with, the Marktown Roundabout, a $1.8 million project that we started last fall. A $1.8 million dollar project that we started last fall, and we were able to substantially complete back in November of last year. However, we do have a few punch list items that we do need to complete. The first of those on the punch list, we're currently working with NIPSCO. As most of you guys have probably seen, there are 4 poles that are kind of sitting in the center of the roundabout itself. So we're currently working with those guys for them to do a relocation of those poles outside the center of the roundabout. Once that project, which we anticipate that will happen probably in the next 60 days or so, is completed, we'll start the second part of our ending of the project by adding a sculpture, which is pretty much shown up on the actual screen, to the center of the roundabout. The next thing we will do, of course, is come in and start doing curb painting and pavement striping. And then finally, we will install the sod inside the actual roundabout and around the surrounding area. Those items are targeted to be completed by May 1st. The second project that I want to talk about here in the 5th District, and we're excited about announcing, is that we have a $3.5 million project entitled 129th and Dickey Streetscape Project. This project will encompass Dickey Road starting at 129th and going all the way down to Michigan Avenue. Scope of work includes asphalt replacement, concrete and curb patching, sidewalk replacement, new light poles and fixtures, curb painting, and pavement striping. And this particular project is estimated to be completed by November 1st. It's a big deal. We're definitely trying to work on bringing the Marktown entrance into this corridor pretty much up to date. In closing, I would like to thank you, the residents of Marktown, as well as our corporate neighbors, for your patience. We know during construction, there are inconveniences. However, it is truly necessary for us to make these corridor improvements. Thank you.
Put your question on the card, please. Put your question on the card. Okay, myself and Mr. Walter will be answering the questions, and if Dave, you want to join in, or Keith, or whomever, based on these questions, is greatly appreciated. One question is, what if I pulls away before 5 years, pass away in 5 years? Well, that'll be part of your mortgage, what's it called?
For the estate.
Yeah, for the estate, which is part of the, what do you call it? I can't forget what they call it. Not the promissory note, the other one, the mortgage.
Mortgage note.
Yeah, it should be in there. Let's say who's going to have, who's going to own the home and how you're going to pay for it if your family member takes it over. Okay? It'll be the same criteria.
So if she's a single person that lives in that home, she has to pay 4 to 5 years.
There's still a lien on the home.
Right.
Yeah, and that has to be satisfied with the, when the estate is satisfied.
Okay, I do appreciate this. I won't give names out. Sign me up. Oh, we're gonna sign you up, please. We need you. We really do. We really do. Okay. What happens to the house that are rented? What revenues can be used to help those who have a hardship of liens or credit history?
I asked that question because I'm looking at your presentation there. So I'm wondering what would happen to, because I've seen this in the past in areas that the city has tried to come into. And in those areas, it was where there's a lot of people, the credit history was bad. They might have a lien. So I'm wondering, are there any programs that you guys can tie into that might be able to help people to get their credit together? Because it looked like you might be able to do some homeowner, but it might be 10 you might be able to do, and 50 that you can't do because of credit history. So
Okay.
I wonder if the city is
Sure.
looking into
The-
something like
Yeah,
that.
the city, there are agencies that provide credit counseling and credit enhancement to try to bring, property owners their credit up. This is not based, this grant to the homeowner is not based on your credit.
Okay,
This is based on, and income is not a factor, okay?
okay,
It is based on the fact that if you don't own, or you don't owe any city taxes
okay.
or any city tax liens, okay? We're not talking about you owe, Target, a credit card
So
bill.
it's not as if you have like somebody got money from HUD and he might owe HUD money. And it might say HUD does put a lien
That's
on your
a
property,
mortgage. That's a mortgage
Okay, so
note.
you still, okay,
Yeah.
Right.
But the idea is that using city funds,
okay.
so therefore the homeowner is getting city funds, so the homeowner should be paying their city taxes.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, the next question is twofold question. Will this meeting with our common council be before or after the election day this year? It has to be before. It's going to be as quickly as we possibly can. Okay, because we need to go to them to ask for them to be able to allocate some money for us. Okay, you got it. And the other question was the council asked about spending all the money to be used on the art fixtures for the new roundabout? Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, the question is, was the council asked about spending all the money to be used on the art fixtures for the new roundabout?
Absolutely. When we went to the Common Council and let them know that we were going to be doing the roundabout, that money in that particular structure and that sculpture was included in that packet.
Next question, what happens to our garage? We won't work on those garages, we
Well, no,
won't
you
fix the
can
garages.
the garage, but you can't build a new one.
Yeah, you can't build a new one. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, go
It
ahead.
says, what happens to a garage? Some houses have garages,
Uh-huh.
some houses have carports, okay? You know, you fix the front of the house, the facade of the house, you want to fix the carport or garage, okay? But you can't use the money to build a new garage or a new carport, okay? This is a renovation program, it's not new construction.
So we have to get closer like this. Okay, the next question is, I think it says Broad Street are the only street, any houses that have garages.
No, there's
No.
garages scattered throughout. Yeah.
Yep.
If you look at some of the maps, like this one, all of these little gray structures that are scattered throughout are garages.
Right. Okay, the next question is, I have a lot of mold due to the abandoned house connected to my house. What are you guys going to do about that issue? Many people have the same problem.
Okay, is it a privately owned property next to you or publicly owned property? That would have to be determined, you know, and the city building inspector would have to come out and take a look and evaluate the issue. So if you contact the city building inspector, you know, they will, you know, address that issue.
Next question, how long will this program go for? What if it hasn't been a year, but the new owner is putting money in remodeling the home after completing the already application? How long will the
Have to
wait be before receiving the grant?
You know, it's, you know, basically the requirement is that you know, you own the home for 12 months. So if you bought the house, does this little
Here.
one work?
No, take this one. Take this one.
Okay. The question is, what happens if you know, buy a house and you're fixing it up? You know, when does it kick in that you're eligible to receive that grant? It depends. You have to have 12 months. This project is more, this program is going to last more than 6 months. We're talking about years. We're talking about Sunnyside, you know, and how many years that took. You know, the same thing. You know, you apply, you know, and if you have to wait 6 months for the exterior, you have to wait 6 months. So,
Okay, the next question is, when will the applications be provided? The applications will be provided as soon as we go to the Common Council and have an allocation being presented to them and a presentation, so then that way we can ask for those dollars. And once they appropriate it, then the applications will be out. I already have the applications ready to roll. How long will the program
can I say
last?
one thing? These are simple applications. Nobody is asking for your financial, you know, income, how much money you have in the bank or things like that. It's basically that you own it and you can demonstrate you have a deed or that you can show that you own the property. That's really it.
Right. And it's only 4 pages long, very, very short, very quick answers, yes, no, things of that nature. Now, how long will the program last? I believe
Several
Walter responded to that. Will there be security cameras in Marktown? That's another conversation. I believe we did have, and there will be some. But then again, it all depends on the allocation. We are more interested right now in making sure that dollars are there available, so then that way we can then send out the applications out. That's why I was asking everybody to make sure you handwrite very clearly your name on that list that we have up there in the front as you signed in, because that's what we're going to be using to get in contact with you. And I wanted to say one thing, which the slide did not show, was that when you have a homeowner next to you, correct? The two of you have to be the homeowners. So if you send in an application, but your homeowner over here doesn't send it until 4 or 5 months later, I can't move. You got to have everybody work together. That's exactly how we did Sunnyside. Exactly. You got to have your neighbors working with you. No. No. Okay, we go on to the security cameras again. We answered that question. Put that over there. You said something about security camera along Riley and Dickey. Is that what you're asking? That'll be another question that we have to probably answer at another date and time because we had no conversation about this as the staff. So it's in a working process. Right, I got you. Okay, what he's saying is that it didn't come in front of the council. That's what I just heard Robert say. Okay, when would this program take effect? As soon as the dollars are available. Does it start from the day you bought the house? No. It starts from the day that you lived there for 12 months. Once you live there for 12 months, then I get your application, we're good to go. And we'll be able to tell whether or not how long you've been living there. Why can't we have better lighting on Riley Road? In the process of buying, do I have to have the
I have to
live for
live there for,
for 1 year before I apply?
yes.
Yes, 12 months. 12 months equals a year. Okay, let's see. Twofold question. What if renters, houses next door,
Oh, well, what if there's a rented house next door
Well-
and not the same color and the color's ugly?
okay, now this is the thing. As homeowners, the two of you have to come together and agree because we want everything to be copacetic, as they say, copacetic, as they say. So then that's what I said, copacetic. Well, okay, I'm not going to go through there. All right, so it's all got to look real nice, and everybody's got to come to an agreement as to how they want it to look. Okay, your doors, your windows, whatever it is that your colors and things of that nature. Okay, yeah.
Keep in mind, if it's a rental property, it's not eligible.
Right, and if it's a rental property, it's not eligible.
So if the other own part is this couple here, so if they own one side and the other side is the renter, they wouldn't qualify?
No, it has to be both homeowners on both sides. I'm gonna go on to the question about speed bumps, okay? That's something that could be conversed about at a later date and time.
Yep.
What if the house connected homeowner dies out of state and the home is abandoned? It's out of state, right?
Yeah, lives out of the state and the house is abandoned, doesn't care for it, doesn't use it.
Well, the thing is that that person has to live there. Now, a lot of people do this. They end up renting the place. Okay, now,
For about 6 years.
right,
He refuses to sell it,
and
refuses to rent it.
and I can't force them to do anything.
No, I'm not asking
Yeah,
you for it.
yeah.
What about the homeowner that's connected, we're SOL?
Yep.
It has to be both sides. It has to be both sides. Okay?
So most of us in town we'll use this money somewhere else.
Asbestos and lead and mold are still present in almost all homes. What will be done about that? We don't work on that. That's not part of the grant. Grant is to fix your home. Now, if you have mold in those areas, then yeah, if it's outside in the exterior.
And what's causing the mold is
Right.
if there's water infiltration from the outside, that the idea is to stop that water infiltration, so then you can stop future growth of mold.
Now, this is an interesting question. How to address a problem with the house when the neighbor doesn't want to help? I had a lot of that in Sunnyside. But when they found out everything was free, they started working together. And what it did, it brought them together because they both had something of interest. And the interest was to make the homes beautiful. And if you go behind where the chief is at, you'll see some of those Sunnyside homes, the before and after pictures. Okay, they came together, trust me. I had a lot of that. And they came together because they saw the interest of making sure that they were going to be in a beautiful home on both sides. Okay, I just want to know if there is going to be a stop sign with the roundabout mill traffic. It's too much. And I can't answer that, it would have to be a Keith Selvey answer.
Is there gonna be a stop sign on the roundabout?
No, the roundabout is not made for stop signs, it's made for yield. Each entryway into the roundabout has a yield currently. I can say that the folks that do their data and come up with the roundabout idea, it's kind of a twofold thing. It allows you to have a safer intersection, as well as it minimizes conflict points. If you guys are residents of Marktown, up until maybe July of last year, there were conflicts every day around 3 o'clock. And at which point in time, they have approximately, I think there was like 400 to 700 cars coming through around that time. So the roundabout is supposed to allow access smoothly and even flow.
Define the meaning of conflict when you say at that intersection, because there's only been one fatality that's ever happened at that intersection.
If I remember correct,
Accidents are minimal as it was with a stop sign.
well,
And now at no traffic time, they don't stop.
Yeah, they do not.
well, if I remember correctly, and I've been here in East Chicago for a while, the City of East Chicago's police department used to allocate an officer daily during that time. So I understand what you're saying, but what we're saying is that officer is no longer necessary because the roundabout hopefully makes it a better flow.
No, it doesn't. You cannot get out on Broad Street, you cannot get out on Spring Street.
Okay, we go to the next question. The city owns the other side of the house. How will I get a,
How do I get a grant?
a grant? Okay, because the city owns that particular home, we will fix that home with your home, okay? If we're the owners of that home. And then down the road with our other dollars that we may end up utilizing, like CDBG money down the road, I can then fix the internal home and then we can sell the home. Because we're not in the business to keep the homes. That's not us. We want to be able to sell them off or we're doing as is. Okay? There you go. Now, what if you own both sides and a family rents one? Well, I would say sell the home to your family. Seriously, because I can only do one side. I can't do both sides. I only could do one. And then if I were you, just go ahead and then sell it if that's what you intended.
To
Because,
your family?
yeah, for $1. Okay? You don't sell? Okay. That's it on questions then. I don't have any more questions?
Oh, yep, I have a whole list. Here you go.
Yeah, I'll look at your questions and see which ones we can answer.
I gotta read all of them.
No.
Where's the mayor?
Where's the mayor? Is the mayor? This wasn't-
I can't answer that. Where's the mayor?
Unfortunately, the mayor couldn't be here, so I'm here for him. So I'm the Chief of Staff, Sandra Favela.
Okay. Number two, why is there no stop sign?
We already answered.
Okay, we answered that. Why did you patch the roof today at Prospect Street, but over the past 4 years, it had a huge hole?
There's a hole on Prospect Street on the corner. I
Right.
actually pointed out to you. It's right here that you guys have this yellow star. Today y'all came out before this meeting and patched it with plastic and carped it and whatnot. We've been calling the city, like you said, to call. No answers, to no avail. No one comes out. No one does anything. And there's been a huge hole in the roof, and today, now it's patched. Why today? Why not 4 years, 5, 6 years ago when the hole was there? Because the other side's habitable. Now they're getting water on their side, and the city owns the other half.
So I do have the building commissioner here. He could probably explain why that patch is there, but I will, before you leave, please give me your name and phone number. I will certainly want to hear your concerns that you have. Okay, thank you.
Okay, the next question is, why did you tear the house down on Prospect Street last week if
You guys haven't.
on the map it has the yellow star because on the
But you guys told us those were the homes, the last meeting, you told us those were the homes that were gonna be part of your potential development site, and then you guys came out last week and they were supposedly sold off in an auction, and none of that was made public to any of us residents, because we've asked about that, because if it was made public, some of us who, which, I always say this,
I don't know about no sign.
Marktown is an eyesore instead of an eyesight, right? Because that's how most people see it. You drive through here and you're like, it's nasty. Well, there are a lot of us who are middle class, upper middle class. We choose to live here because our families are here. And then you guys are tearing things down, but you say something different in the meeting, and once you leave, all of a sudden last week, I'm outside, there's bricks and everything else falling My family lives across the street, we're in a house, and our cars are out there. Not one knock on the door, not one notice, not anybody out there, job site left unattended. There's children that go to and from school walking on the bus. Job
So,
sites left open.
I certainly want to address that with you one-on-one, because here, everybody's here to hear about the renovation program. No, I understand. We're here to hear about the renovation program.
About the renovation, because that was part of the last.
Right.
Why was that house
Why was that
demolished?
house
When
demolished?
it was, when it was.
So like I said, building commissioner, I don't know if he's still here, that he can certainly address that with you both. But I will say, all the homes that have not been on the auction, we have it, at the time we had it with Macaulay. We put those on Macaulay, Caldwell Banker. Those properties go on sale, and those are on the market.
You overvalued them home, because if you sell them off.
No, I'm sorry, sir. We just sold one on Spring for $10,000.
When I was trying to buy one, it was almost at
30,000.
And it
Yes.
was, the water was shut off,
Right.
the electric was shut off, so now I have to do a full gut.
Yeah, I want to say,
Up and going can be another
But when
$50,000,
it's convenient for you
$60,000.
guys to sell for 10 to someone you know that's another business person, you guys sell it. It's the point. You're not putting the money or the homes back into the residents.
So, again, I don't know your name, I'm sorry, but we'll certainly go ahead. Mrs. Rodriguez, we'll certainly touch base before you leave. I want to give this back to Frank so we can wrap it up and finish up the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. How do I get your position? You got to work real hard for it. That's it, and I just wanted to, where? Okay.
Yeah, I've got a real quick question for you.
Last one.
Okay, last one.
What?
I would like to buy 412 Lilac. Who do I call? I called City Hall, no answer. Do you know if that property belongs to the city of East Chicago or the Department of Redevelopment? I have to go to the assessor site or the recorder site or many other sites to make sure who does that property belong to, because if it's privately owned, I can't touch it. Now, I think Paul has one question.
Yes, I'd like to point out that with every year that this mayor's been in office, there's been a roof on Prospect Street.
That was already answered. That was already answered. Thank you very much, Paul. I'm gonna end the meeting right now. Thank you for coming. We truly appreciate that. And so we will give some alerts and put things on Facebook as to when, and as soon as we can go to the Common Council to ask for the appropriation so that now we can start handing out applications to everybody.